Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over 3 rhetorical ploys. So let's dive right in. Trading on an equivocation. An equivocation is, or when you're equivocating, when you're using a word in an ambiguous or vague way. So when you trade on an equivocation as a rhetorical ploy, you're attempting to persuade someone that P is true by exploiting the ambiguity or vagueness of a word. So I like the example from the book on page, let's see, on page 54, yeah. Mr. Smith, who is believed to have links to terrorist organizations, was seen boarding a flight at Heathrow Airport. Now, one thing they point out is the word links. So Mr. Smith has links to terrorist organization. Well, the word links is quite vague. What is Mr. Smith part of a terrorist organization, or he knows someone from a terrorist organization? It can mean a lot of different things. And the thing is, a journalist could like aim a blow at a politician by using the vagueness of words like links, has connections with, is associated with this terrorist organization, the KKK or whatever. Um, and so whenever you see these claims, oh, this person is connected to this racist organization, you should wonder, okay, what does connected to mean? Try to nail it down, because they're using a vague word to maybe communicate something and try to persuade you something, some P, that's false. One example of trading on an equivocation that uses ambiguity is I heard someone talking about this conversation where somebody said, there's no meaning to life. Here's a philosophical claim. And then the other person said, well, did your sentence have meaning? And the first person said, yeah, my sentence does have meaning. So the other person said, so there are meanings in life. There is meaning in life. And the first person said, I guess so. There is meaning to life. Okay, well, the word meaning is ambiguous between like purpose, a point to life, purpose of life, or meaning means like sentence meaning, like content meaning. So they're exploiting the ambiguity of the word meaning to try to get the other person to believe that there is meaning in life. So that's trading on an equivocation. We'll talk about more examples, but other words that are vague, like feminist, or words like violence, unsafe, trauma, racist, these are vague enough that people could use those to exploit them, to persuade you something. Okay. Trading on implicature, an attempt to persuade someone that P is true by using implicature to mislead an audience. Now, we spent a lot of time on implicature, so we've already covered this basically. Somebody asks you whether you'll go to the party on Friday, and you say, I have work then. You're persuading them that you can't go to work by using an implicature, using the maxim of relevance, okay, to mislead them, right? But you use implicature when you never actually said you couldn't go, but you persuaded them that you could. I like the example of the book. They have someone saying, if the government increases income tax, then that will further burden working families. Okay. Now, by saying that, it puts in the mind of the reader, oh, the government's considering increasing income tax. Why else would you say that conditional claim if that first part, the government increases income tax, if the government weren't considering that? So they're using maxim of relevance to mislead you into thinking that the government is thinking about increasing income tax. But any of the implicatures we talked about could be one attempt to mislead someone. Like one more example, if I said, we might have a test tomorrow, right? I'm making it sound like I don't know, right? And that would be trading on implicature. Okay, many questions, sometimes called leading question or complex question. Leading question, sometimes a judge will be like, leading question, okay, it's asking a question that misleadingly implies that some proposition P is true. So like kind of the traditional, old-fashioned example they would give is like, when did you stop beating your wife? Which would misleadingly imply that you were beating your wife. Let's say you have not, okay? And these sorts of questions, there's no way to answer them. I can't say like yesterday or 2 days ago. Like any answer I give is going to get me into trouble. Sometimes people ask like, when are you going to get your act together? Why do you keep showing off? And you're like, I wasn't showing off. But like any attempt to answer the question as it's straightforwardly stated, you can't give any answer without getting into trouble. It's because their question itself implies something that's false. So you got to stop those from the start. Just saying, what do you mean? I don't have a wife, you might say, or I'm not showing off. So that's the use of many questions, which can misleadingly get people to believe something that's false. Okay, so that's all, and look forward to discussing some of these in the Zoom session where we try to think of our own examples.